Oh, what is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the GXGamerCast. We're on episode 165 of my little gaming show where once a week I just have to talk about video games, whether they're new video games that I'm playing today, old video games that I grew up with, it doesn't matter. Video games. And today we are taking a spooky look and going back in time to 2001 and taking a look at the all-time classic horror video game, one of the best of all time, Silent Hill 2. Oh baby, I have never played a Silent Hill game until this one right now, so I'm very excited. That's it. I've never played it. Always wanted to play it. Well, not always, because I was a scared little chicken shit for most of my life. But now I'm getting a little more used to horror video games, and I finally decided it is time to dive into Silent Hill, especially after the remake came out and was a success. Good reviews. I had a friend who is a fan of the Silent Hill games. He played it. He loved it. So that's good. That's really good in my book. So, been meaning to get to Silent Hill, and here we are. I finally did it. I purchased the HD collection not that long. I think sometime this year I found it on Amazon for a relatively cheap price. I thought in my books it was like $25 or $30, something like that. Very affordable, much more affordable than trying to track down an original copy, which I actually did. I found an original copy, Black Label PS2 Silent Hill, at my local game shop, and they wanted $270. So I wasn't going to do that. I don't get paid for doing this podcast. I do it for fun, and I don't have a set budget for this podcast, and well, $300 for a video game is just outrageous, especially one from 2001. Regardless, I've seen many copies of Silent Hill OG Black Label out in the wild, and I imagine a lot of people are avoiding it because of that crazy price tag. So if you are scared of paying that amount of money for an old video game, try and track down the HD version. Yes, I have heard it's not the best version to play it as, but I'll tell you in this review that it was not that bad. So we'll discuss that in this review, but before we get into that, let us discuss what I've been up to over the last week or so. As I always encourage you, the viewer, the listener, let me know what y'all have been up to over whatever amount of time. It is October, my favorite season of the year, so let me know, what are your scariest of scary movies you have ever witnessed, and let me know your recommendations for scary movies. I'm a big old horror movie buff. I love horror movies, my favorite genre of movie, and I have been diving in, and I will tell you about the horror movie that I watched this week. But before we do that, also let me know what horror video games I should check out. I have done Resident Evil, Dead Space, getting into the Silent Hill games now. I only have Silent Hill 3, but that's like a sequel to Silent Hill 1, so I kind of want to play. Well, they're doing a remake of Silent Hill 1, so I might have to wait a long time before I can actually get to Silent Hill 3. That might be next year or sometime after that, so I don't plan on playing Silent Hill 3 anytime soon, just because I know I need to play Silent Hill 1. Don't have that game yet. Don't really want to track down and play it on PlayStation 1. I do actually have some small memories about my cousins playing Silent Hill 1 on PlayStation 1. Scared the hell out of me. All I know is that they were running through fog and there was monsters chasing them, and that was terrifying. Now, that doesn't scare me anymore. I'm more than willing and able to play Silent Hill 1 now. I am a man, so I can do it. But yeah, no plans on playing another Silent Hill for a little bit. I want to get the remake, Silent Hill 2, at some point here. Maybe it's on sale at this point and for a good price, but I've seen it in and around $50. I'm more of a $40 guy, but I was really impressed with Silent Hill 2, so I kind of want to see what they did with the remake, so I might be swayed to purchase Silent Hill 2 remake sooner rather than later. But let me know if you played that game. Is it awesome? Is it worthy of a purchase and all that stuff? I think I know the answer already, but hell, I want to hear your opinion on it. All right, let's talk about what I've been up to over the last week or so. Not too much, because I'm actually recording this one day after my other recording, so I didn't get into a whole lot, but I did watch another couple episodes of Face Off Inside the NHL. That is the Amazon Prime series. Highly recommended you check it out. Even if you're not a hockey fan, it is still a good watch. Very compelling. It kind of gives you the most inside look that I've personally seen. I've watched a lot of hockey stuff, heard a lot of hockey stories, and this is as close to being a fly on the wall inside of a dressing room, locker room, whatever, that you can get. So it's a great watch. I just watched the William Nylander episode, very sweet, and the whole Shanna Plan episode, oh my god. I'm not gonna lie, that episode got me in a bad mood, because I just started reliving all the past failures of the Toronto Maple Leafs and how long the Shanna Plan lasted and how little it strayed from the path. That really frustrated me. Basically, so the word insanity, the definition to that word is trying the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. That is what I would call the definition of the Toronto Maple Leafs for the last 8 seasons or whatever, trying the core 4 over and over and over again, only to fail in spectacular fashion over and over again. So, like I talked about last episode, I'm rather excited, most excited for this NHL season that I have been in a while, just because it's finally something different. They're going to try something new, and that excites me. So, will it work? We'll have to wait and see. It's very early in the season. They've literally only played 1 game as of me recording this. They won, so they're a perfect record right now. We'll see what happens next time we talk about them. But that episode was good. It was following around William Nylander, who's his father played in the NHL, so get to see a little bit of that. His brother plays with the Marlies, so they're a big old hockey family. So it was cute watching William Nylander do his thing. He's a very charming, likable guy. He's perfect for Toronto. He doesn't give a fuck about anything, so he is fantastic. So again, highly recommend you check out the NHL Amazon series. It is fantastic. Don't watch the Montreal Canadiens rebuilding one. Skip that one. It is boring as fuck, but definitely check out this Amazon one because it is bumping. All the episodes are available now, I do believe, so yeah, definitely check that out. Let's talk movies. Oh, buddy, did I ever watch a good one this week? My wife and I were planning on watching Until Dawn, but Crave started acting up, so we're like, fuck. Let's pivot. Let's try something new. Went on to my Paramount Plus, and I had a movie on the list that I've been meaning to watch, and that movie is The Heretic. Ooh, buddy. Oh, man, did this movie ever surprise me? This movie absolutely fucks. This movie is awesome. My wife really liked it, and it's starring Hugh Grant, and I know that name, but I couldn't picture who Hugh Grant was until I started watching it, of course, and I was just kind of blindsided by oh my god, it's Hugh Grant, like the handsome, charming British man who is like, oh my, and all those love romantic movies, and here he is playing this psychotic, fucked up dude that has a lot of interesting opinions and stuff like that. So the movie does base around religion quite a lot. The basis of this movie is that these 2 girls from the Mormon church, excuse me if I'm not saying that right, but they follow the Book of Mormon. They're just going to see a resident that asks for more information, and let the tension just start rising from the beginning of this movie all the way through to the end. The tension, the suspense is absolutely phenomenal. I was so sucked into this movie. I don't think my wife and I spoke a word throughout the whole thing, which is very rare for her because it's kind of hard to get her into movies. She likes to kind of know a lot about the movie before she'll give it a chance, and me, I'm just like, hey, if I heard it was good, I'll give it a shot. You know what I'm saying? So I let the movie suck me in, and it looks like my wife let this movie suck her in as well. I was a little bit nervous. If you are religious, you might not like this movie because they kind of discuss a lot of things revolving around religion that may or may not upset you. I don't know. I'm believe it or not, I am Catholic. I was baptized as a child. I don't really, I don't go to church and stuff like that. I'm not like a big religious guy, but I respect people's opinions and how they feel about religion and everything. So just keep that in mind if you are a little bit sensitive to religion and those type of topics. Maybe avoid this one, but let me tell you, it is probably the suspense movie of the year for me. Did it ever get me going, man? I love this movie. The acting was absolutely superb. Hugh Grant fucking crushed it, man. There is a scene where he's pulling out like Monopoly boards and talking about games and stuff. That scene just fucking blew me away. Like, he just goes on this huge monologue, and he's just wham, 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 going and going, and he is amazing. He absolutely slaughtered this. Like, it literally reminds me kind of, what's his name? The guy that plays Hannibal Lecter in Silence of the Lambs. Like, it kind of feels like a performance like that. It was amazing. Definitely worth a watch. It's on Paramount Plus. 8.5 out of 10. The only thing that it loses marks on, it was early on, it was losing me a little bit with the religion thing, but quickly they brought me back in with the tension, man. The tension in this movie is phenomenal. Absolutely fantastic. Once the girls enter the household, it's game on. It is fucking game on. And that they enter the house very early. It's a freaking awesome movie. Definitely worth a check out. I didn't expect it to be, I'm not going to say that it was a horrifying movie or anything, but it was definitely unsettling. It was definitely tense, very, very tense. So hell of a movie right there. Very happy that I watched that one. All right, let's talk video games. Not a lot new here, so I'm still playing Hades 2. Working my way through that. We're going to have a review for that game sometime this month in October. Once I feel that I probably won't end up beating it by I don't know. I couldn't tell you if I'm going to beat this game in time. I imagine I'm going to get there and just keep playing it. I'm just kind of picturing the same thing that I did with Hades. Like, I beat that game, but there's so much more meat on the bone after you quote unquote beat this game. There's so much more to do. I imagine I'm going to be doing the same thing with Hades 2. So when I feel like I'm ready, I'll pop out a review for Hades 2, so be on the lookout for that one. Other than that, I downloaded Battlefield 6, so that's going to be my shooter for this year. I know Call of Duty's right around the corner, but it doesn't look like it's going to be like a very good Call of Duty this year. It's probably going to be one of those off years, and that could be to the benefit of Battlefield 6. Me and the homie Kyle split on it, so I'm literally watching it download right now. I even upgraded my internet just so I can have, it's still not good, but it's better. It's definitely better than it was, so I'm downloading the game right now. At this point, I have not played it. I did not play the demo, like the free weekend that they had, so I missed out on that. I wanted to, I really did. I wanted to, I just didn't have the time, and I've heard nothing but great things about this game from the dozens of people that have played it at my work, anyone that I've heard nothing but good things about Battlefield. I'm still kind of new. This would be only my second Battlefield that I've actually purchased and plan on playing. I played the demo back in the day for Battlefield 3. I absolutely loved it, but never purchased it because we were still kind of all playing Call of Duty at the time. So here I am. This is Battlefield 6. It is the only other one that I played, was Battlefield 1. So that is like World War I, old guns, not as many vehicles, up-to-date vehicles anyway. So this is my first like modern Battlefield, and I'm pretty excited, man. I'm excited to dive in here. I'm going to record this episode and freaking hop on, man. I'm going to hop in there, maybe get in a helicopter, fucking crash it or something. I don't know, dude. I'm pretty excited. I had a blast when I played Battlefield 1 for the first time. I know not everybody loved that game, but it was my first Battlefield, so I had a blast with it. But this one, it sounds like I'm going to have friends to play with. Like, I don't have to try and convince anybody to come over and play this game with me. Like, it sounds like I'm going to have a lot of friends to play this game with. So let me know. Did you buy Battlefield 6? Are you loving it? Let me know all that good stuff. So at this point, it's been out for like a week or whatever. So maybe I hate it. Maybe I love it. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. So other than that, that's all I got. Not really playing anything. Haven't played Pokemon Sun in a while because I was watching that Ed Gein story. So I wanted that, give that my full attention. I haven't even gotten to finish Dandadan yet. I haven't finished season 1. Haven't gotten started on to season 2 yet. So want to get into that as well. But yeah, there we go, everybody. So hit me with your best horror movie recommendations, horror video game recommendations, and let's dive into it, y'all. Let's talk about the all-time classic, Silent Hill 2. Oh, it's so spooky, the music. Oh, no. All right. Silent Hill 2. Come on down, let's talk about it. Originally released in 2001 on the PlayStation 2, a very early PlayStation 2 game. Not launch lineup, but definitely one of the early ones. And boy, did it ever take a jump from PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 2. We'll get into the graphics in a moment, but like I talked about earlier, a PS2 copy will cost you in and around $250 to $300, give or take on the condition of the game and everything. So, like I said, I'm playing it on the PS3 HD remastered version, which includes Silent Hill 3 with it. Don't know why it doesn't include Silent Hill 4. That was also on the PlayStation 2, as if I remember correctly. I think it's called The Room. Very curious why that one wasn't included into the collection. Probably another reason why people aren't very fond of this HD collection, because it doesn't actually include all the games. But regardless, that's the version that I'm playing it on, and I'll discuss in the graphics and everything how the performance and everything was with this game. But before we get there, let's kind of give you a little intro how this game starts. What are we doing? What's up with this game? So the closest thing I can compare it to is an old school Resident Evil game. Talking tank controls, we're talking Resident Evil 1 through 3 before the big change in Resident Evil 4. So you're moving around, you're in this very scary area, you're solving puzzles, you're killing some enemies, you're doing some stuff. It's kind of a mystery game, mystery horror game. It's very unique. It's very unique. It's not a game that gets made anymore, but and we'll discuss why they don't make them like this anymore. But you are playing as James, and James has arrived in Silent Hill because he got a letter from his dead wife. What the fucking fuck? All right, I'm interested. That is very interesting. So what the hell is that about? You get this letter. It's like, yo, James, get over here in Silent Hill, dog. Like, we got memories to make. Like, we're gonna meet at this special place, and you know what I'm talking about. So you show up in Silent Hill, which is covered in this very, very thick fog. And immediately, I feel like I'm in a dream sequence. Like, the second this game starts, you're just like, all right, you're kind of just plopped into it. Like, you're standing in Silent Hill, you're outside of your car, there's fog everywhere, you're confused, you're like, okay, I feel like I'm missing a couple of scenes here. Like, it's just a very dreamlike game. Like, you feel like you're in a dream. It's strange. It's very strange and very compelling. So you're immediately drawn to this game. You're like, what the hell? I'm getting a letter from my dead wife. There's no way it's from my dead wife. Who's this from? Who did this? What's going on? What the fuck? So that's what's essentially going on here. You are trying to figure out where the hell... you got to figure out where the special place is. You figure it out pretty quickly what this letter is talking about, but then you got to get there. And that place, of course, is on the other side of this freaking town. And the worst part is you have a car. You probably could have drove there. Obviously, the way is blocked, but still. Video game logic, you know what I'm saying? You definitely could have just moved some things and easily have just driven right up to the hotel that you're trying to get to, and bam, Bob's your uncle. But if that's how it was, then you wouldn't have a video game now, would we? So obviously, there's a whole bunch of hoopla and hoops and things you got to jump through to get all the way over there, and there's a whole bunch of adventure that's going to happen along the way. So, with that being said, there's your intro. Let's talk about the graphics. Now, graphics for a game like this, hard to discuss, so I'm trying to put myself back in 2001 as a young gamer that I was what, fucking 8 or 9 years old at that time. So maybe some of you weren't even born at that time. That's crazy to me. I don't want to say the O word, but I don't feel old. I don't think I'm old. I'm only in my early 30s, so leave me alone. Anyway, I want to take myself back. So if this game came out, when it came out, fucking insane graphics for the time. I'm talking insane. The shadow effects for the time were like unseen. Like you don't see shadow effects like that in early PS2 games. So this game was really pushing it for the time. I know it's not a looker anymore. Immediately when I turned the game on, I was like, I had to adjust my glasses. I was like, holy fucking blurry, jeez. And I thought this might have been an issue with the HD remake. So I was playing it on a huge 60-inch TV, so obviously the picture's been stretched quite a lot, which makes the game pretty blurry. But that's what games looked like back then. Before HD, we had 360p, 480p if you were lucky. So it's not really a looker anymore, but it didn't bother me, actually. It bothered me initially, the same problem that I had with Bully when I played that game earlier this year. Just initially, your eyes get a little bit shocked because you're like, whoa, okay, this is very unclear, but eventually your eyes adjust to the picture, and not bad. Not bad, I am not a graphics hound, so as long as I'm more of a performance hound, like if it's not running well, then that's a problem. And I must say, the game ran pretty well. Not bad. There was some slowdown, especially when James is like running down a big hallway. His movements get kind of slowed down and shit like that. So didn't run amazingly. There weren't a lot of like frame drops or anything other than when you were running. When I was in combat, like with a bunch of enemies or something, there was no problems there. Like I didn't have any crashes, no nothing like that. No major bugs or glitches that I had to deal with or anything like that. So overall, I thought the game ran well. I should probably have done my research and looked up the reviews for the HD remake, and just to see what the big quarrels was with it. I imagine its performance and graphical enhancements weren't that good, but they definitely could have done better with the graphics upgrade. I don't even feel like I was playing it in HD. Like it still kind of looked like a PS2 game to me, which is fine. You know, it is what it is. But graphically, for the time, this game was pushing the max, man. This must have been one of the best looking games at the time when it came out. And that's a genre that graphics is really important with, is horror games. If you don't have good enough graphics, it's going to take you out of the horror. It's going to make you, oh, look how awful that looks. It's going to take you out of the moment. So I don't think I had that problem with Silent Hill, only initially at the first beginning stages where it's very, very foggy and kind of an open area, and it doesn't really do it justice. Where it shines is like inside buildings where it's dark, you got your flashlight on, you're seeing shadows, you're seeing just the ick of this world. This world is gross. Oh my goodness, the color palette in this game is disgusting. It's brown and gray and black and like really gross reds, like just stinky, bloody, poopy looking game. Poopy in not like a bad way, but like the browns and stuff just kind of makes everything look like someone had a really bad case of diarrhea and some blood mixed in there. So everything looks really disgusting, and that's what they were going for. So they nailed that. Like, this Silent Hill place needs a real cleanup, man. These buildings are dilapidated. There's water spouting all over the place, water dripping. There's probably mildew. It stinks. Oh, I can only imagine if we had 4D, 5D, and we had that sense of smell. This game would smell like ace. Oh, it smells so bad. But it looks good, man. With the grays and everything, it really puts in a very grim atmosphere that you're in. Now, I know in the PS1 version, the fog was kind of a limiter for the time being. Like, they didn't have big draw distance on PlayStation 1. So adding in that fog was genius. It is a smart way to cover up the limitations of the PlayStation 1. Makes the game more scary because you can't fucking see anything that you're doing. Like, enemies will just appear out of nowhere and shit like that. Now on the PS2, the draw distance is a little bit better. You can actually kind of see a little bit out into the fog, which is good. Now, one thing we'll talk about in the graphics is the enemies and stuff like that. I'm going to talk about all the enemies, but that's pretty much it for the graphics. Like, I thought it was good. By the end, I was by me finishing this game, I thought the game looked good, honestly. I think it's a fine-looking game. I just wish I was there for the initial, wow factor of 2001 if someone played this game back when it first came out. Like, how amazing was that game looking back in the day? Must have been a looker, one of the best on the market for sure, especially the cutscenes. Cutscenes, back in the day, not like how they are now, where cutscenes kind of just blend together with the gameplay. Back then, they upped the graphics for cutscenes, and they do so in Silent Hill 2. Very nice looking cutscenes. They really brighten them up, and character models look almost like fucking ghosts. They're so bright. But good looking game, man. I think it's a good looking game. We'll slide into sound design now. So the game offers, at the beginning, you can choose new voices or original voices. I was playing around with it. Every time you started the game, you can choose which one you want. I didn't really notice a difference. Never played Silent Hill 2 before, so I can't tell you if the voice acting was atrocious in the original, so bad that they had to add in some new voice acting. Now, I don't know if that's what that means. New voice acting could mean they added in some new lines. Maybe they did just do the whole game over again and just make it a lot better. Regardless, I thought the voice acting was fine, especially for a PS2 version game. I thought it was pretty good. Not bad at all. The little girl's a little bit annoying, but I thought the voice acting was really good, actually, overall. The one thing that really bothered me, though, was James's breathing. So you're running around and shit, and you stop to get your bearings, and he just goes, I shit you not, that's what he sounds like. He sounds like the scariest thing in this game. Like, the scariest sounding thing in this game is yourself when you breathe. It is terrifying. The first time I heard that, I was like, oh, fuck, like, what is around me? Am I in danger? Am I compromised? What has happened? And no, it's just James breathing. So that's a thing. Now, when you hit the enemies, they make some sounds. The enemies themselves, they sound pretty scary. I have a little bit of a quarrel with the game, though. So you get this radio, and whenever there's an enemy near you, the radio goes off. So it starts making static sounds, and that lets you know that there's an enemy near you. So I can't tell if that makes the game... It definitely adds tension, but I think it takes away from the actual horror of the game. I think it would have been a lot more horrifying to just be walking through the fog, and just through the fog, just like a monster appears. I don't get a warning. I think it would have helped. I think it would have made the game a lot scarier if I didn't have that radio. I kind of wish I didn't have the radio. I think you can, I don't know if you can, I know you can turn it off, but I think that's just the light. And the light plays, obviously, you want the light. You're going to want to see things. You can't even look at the map if you don't have your light on. It'll be too dark, which I think is actually a really neat mechanic of the game that, like, I wouldn't have thought about that, designing this game. Like, oh shit, the light's off, you're in this dark house. You shouldn't be able to see the map, and the game does that. So that's a plus. That's really cool. That makes it more immersive, makes it more of a realistic type of situation. So I dig that. I dig that a lot. Now, in terms of the music, it's haunting. I like it a lot. It does its job. Now, I'm not going to sit there and go out and buy the Silent Hill CD and play it at a party or anything. It's not that kind of soundtrack. I might play it for a Halloween. You can buy the Silent Hill soundtrack, bam, just pop it on Halloween. That would fill the mood very, very nicely. I think they did a very good job with the music in this game. And the sound effects. The sound effects are pretty good. Like, some of them sound really old. Like, for example, you running around, you got that clop, 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 clop of your feet. Kind of takes me out of the game because it sounds pretty bad. It just doesn't really fit the sound of the game. Like, it's too loud. There's too much of it. I don't really like that. So that kind of sound effect wasn't very good. Shooting guns, the guns sound pretty good. And whacking an enemy with a board or something, not that satisfying in terms of sound effect. Like, you don't... Like, yes, you kind of hear, like, blood spattering a little bit. You kind of hear bones crunching, but not that satisfying. Ooh, my Battlefield 6 is ready. This is awesome. It's only halfway done, but it's ready, apparently. That's good. That's good. All right, I'll pay attention. So, the sound effects of the monsters are pretty good. Like I said, I really wish they played around with that, the static effect with the radio. I think prove me wrong. What do you think? Do you think it's scarier with the sound effect or scarier without it? Like, obviously, like, you don't always see the monster once the radio starts. The radio will start and you're like, okay, where is it? Is it around the corner? Is it behind me? The only thing is that it alerts you that something is there. I think the game would be scarier if they didn't alert you that something was there. A couple of times it happens in this game where I was not alerted of something's presence and it scared the fuck out of me. So there you go. That's my example. I think they should ditch the static effect because I just don't think it's needed. It makes the game less scary. Was the game too scary initially in playtest or something that they had to add in something like that? I don't know. But anyway, the game nails a spooky atmosphere mixed in with the gross looking nature of this game, mixed in with the haunting soundtrack. Oh fuck yeah, you got some atmosphere for days in this game. The fog, oh yeah, this is a scary game, man. Like, I'll be answering that. Is this a scary game? Is this a game worth playing today? We'll be answering that by the end of this, but I already answered one of them. Yeah, this game is scary. It scared me a few times. We'll talk about it. We'll get in there. We're getting to the gameplay right now. So, with the gameplay, like I said, kind of plays like an old school Resident Evil. In fact, it does. It's got tank-ass controls, and let me tell you, it took me about, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes to really finally get a hold of how to move James, because it is awkward. Down is down and up is up. The camera, you got to shift the camera around. Like, this is early PS2. They were still trying to figure out 3D, so the camera's not great. The movement's not great. It's definitely tanky, but again, I had the same thing. I said the same thing about Resident Evil 1 when I played that game for the first time. These tanky controls, this awkward camera, it adds to the horror of the game. because it's kind of awkward to move when something is coming after you. You gotta kind of get your bearings for a little bit. Like, oh fuck, how do I turn around? Like, it's not good, but it's a good way to use the limitations of the time where they were still new to 3D. At least they're using it in an effective way to scare the hell out of you. You're like, oh shit, like it's kind of awkward to move. It's kind of hard to run away easily. Like if something's coming after you, you gotta like, oh shit, I gotta like kind of turn myself around and run away. There's not a quick turnaround button and sprint. Like you're not gone right away like in games today. So it takes you a second to get moving and all that stuff. And then, like I said, with the camera, you got to use the like L2 button to swing it around you sometimes. It's bad in like tight areas where if you're in like a tight corridor and you hear an enemy in front of you, you're like, oh, I just want to see in front of me. Sometimes it works good, sometimes it doesn't. It gets stuck behind you. Just old video game problems that we don't really have anymore. But yeah, it definitely suffers from a little bit of a wonky camera, especially in tight areas. The controls are tanky, like I said, and so is the combat. The combat is also very tanky. You get a limited amount of weapons, so at first you're just using like a wooden board with some nails sticking out of it, and it's not that satisfying to, use your melee in Silent Hill 2. It's wonky, it doesn't feel good, it looks silly, like hitting things, like hitting enemies. It doesn't look very good, like the animation's not that good. Just doesn't feel, and it's not very responsive either. There's tons of times where I'm sitting, so to attack, you have to hold down the R2 button and then smash X to do an attack. So you got to kind of like ready your attack and then hit the action button to accomplish that attack. And sometimes it's not like one-to-one. Like I hit that button, sometimes it takes James like a second or two to like finally swing that board. So sometimes you gotta like time your attacks, make sure that they're not too close, not too far away, and all that stuff. And obviously you don't want the enemies anywhere fucking near you because they're gonna hurt you. I don't like that. I don't want to get hurt. So that's not cool. But like I said, it also adds to the horror. Like, oh, I'm James. I'm not very capable. I'm not great at swinging a baseball bat. I'm not great at shooting a gun. I'm not great at these things. And it kind of represents that in the controls, you know what I'm saying? So I like it. It didn't ruin the game for me by any means. Immediately I was just drawn right to Resident Evil. I was like, oh, okay, this is fine. It's not quite as tight as Resident Evil, the remake version anyway. I'm not talking about the originals, but it's definitely showing its age in that aspect of combat and camera and movement. So it feels like an old school PS2 game. It sounds like an old school PS2 game. But you also get guns. You get a pistol, which is fucking useless. The only reason you use the pistol is just for distance. It's weaker than the wooden board. I was taking down enemies with 6 or 7 whacks with the board. Took like fucking 20 bullets to take down one enemy. Like, what the fuck is that about? Where's the balance in that? Doesn't make any sense. But you also get shotguns, not an assault rifle. You get like a hunting rifle. What else do you get? I think that's it for the guns. But with the weapons, cool thing, we're going to talk about Pyramid Head. Don't you worry. I know all about Pyramid Head. I have a whole section on Pyramid Head. But you can actually get his great knife, which I thought was really cool. It's fucking useless, but it's really cool. Just cool to have. It does big damage, but you swing it like a freaking moron that doesn't know what he's doing, which you are. So, I don't know. I just found it really cool. Other than that, you get the wooden board. You get a lead pipe. Lead pipe is decent. It's got a better range to it. You can kind of like push enemies away from you. So that's a solid weapon. But again, you don't get that. It doesn't feel good, the combat. Like, it doesn't feel good whacking enemies. It feels much better shooting them. And I will say, this game offered me a ton of ammo. I had tons of ammo by the end of it. I had like 50 shotgun shells. I had enough hunting rifle ammo to get through anything that I had. I had more pistol ammo than I knew what to do with it. And then you have your melee weapons, which don't use ammo, so you can use those whenever, whatever, I should say. But combat doesn't feel very good, not very satisfying, but it gets the job done, I guess. I did get better at it. Like, at the beginning, I was really not doing well with it, but you get better. You get used to it. You get used to the tank controls. So the word finally came to my head what kind of game this is. Survival horror, there you go. So in survival horror games, you're scrounging for ammo, you're scrounging for health things. There's There was quite an abundance of both of them, like I said. I had tons of ammo. I had plenty of health that I didn't really have to worry. The health thing is kind of weird. Like, I forget how it works in Resident Evil. I think you have a health bar in Resident Evil. But in this game, you have, like, kind of a heart monitor thing. And it kind of changes colors. It goes from green to gray to red. So when it's red, obviously, you're in low health. I couldn't gauge, like, how many hits I could take. It almost kind of seemed random. Like, sometimes I'm in the red and I take, like, 5 more hits and I'm still good. And then there's sometimes I'm in the green, I take 1 hit and I'm fucking dead. So, didn't really like how that was operating. I would just, when it's red, I would use a health item. It's pretty cool. You can, like, hit the pause button, go into your item menu, and, like, if you're getting attacked by something and you know you're gonna die, you can just hit that menu, take a health item, and it'll heal you right there and you'll live. So that was a pretty cool feature that I don't think you can do in Resident Evil. So that's pretty key. You can also do the same thing with your weapons. You can go into the menu. Instead of reloading your gun, which takes quite a bit of time for James to reload, just go into the menu, reload it right there. It's instant, bam. So there's a little hack for you. Help me out. I will admit I had to use a guide for this game because it's rather convoluted. I didn't know what, I got lost pretty quickly. Like, once I entered a house, I was like, so what the fuck do I do here? And there's a real issue with that. So what the issue is the fact that the game is kind of dark. It's hard to see shit. A lot of browns, a lot of grays, a lot of dark colors, and a lot of the items that you're looking for are dark, and they blend in with the environment. I missed tons of stuff initially. And then I looked up a guide, and they're like, oh yeah, there's this coin here, oh, there's this there, there's that there. I'm like, what? I did not see any of that stuff. There's no, like, in Resident Evil, you know, things might have a shiny tinge to them. You can kind of see them in the environment. Not in Silent Hill. They kind of just blend in with the environment. The only way you can tell if there's an item in the room with you is that James's head will move. Normally, he'll just be looking straight, but if there's an item, he'll look towards wherever the item is. So you got to pay attention to where James is looking, very much so, because that's tons of crucial shit that I missed that I wouldn't be able to advance the game with. Like, there's tons of keys hidden in spots, and sometimes you can sit there, be looking right at the key, and you're hitting the action button to pick it up, and he's not picking it up. You're like, oh, maybe there's not something there. Sometimes you just got to be in the very right spot to pick it up. So that's another thing that's why I recommend, if you're playing it for the first time, I would recommend using a guide because it's very easy to get lost in this game. Very, very easy to miss very crucial key items in this game that you're going to be like, where the fuck is it? I have no idea where this thing is, or what does this do? And it's a little bit convoluted, and so are the puzzles. The puzzles in this game are interesting. You can actually change the difficulty of the combat and the puzzles. You can make the puzzles harder, which I found rather interesting. I was looking at the puzzles and seeing what the hard solution was, and it was interesting. Like, it was completely different. Sometimes you have completely different answers to riddles. You have different solutions to puzzles. You got to get different items. I'm like, oh snap, that's really interesting. For a game from 2001, you're able to change the difficulty of the puzzles and the combat. Like, that's some accessibility that is pretty rare for back in the day. So another shout out for them right there. That's really cool. But like I said, some of those puzzles, like, man, I don't think I would have been able to figure some of them out. Like, there's one, you got to find a piece of wax, a fucking horseshoe, and a lighter, and you combine those 3 items to make a handle for a door. What are you, fucking MacGyver over here? Like, holy shit, I was blown away with that one. I'm like, I don't know if I would have been able to figure that one out. There's no real clues. There's, like, not a lot going on with that. So there was the early one that I got stuck on was the one with coins. I had no idea I was supposed to be collecting coins. I had no idea where they were. They're so tiny. I walked by all of them, and I had to do a lot of backtracking to find them. Like, I was not into that. I was like, all right, I'm already scared. This game is tense. I don't want to be doing a lot of backtracking and searching around for shit. Let's just fucking straight beeline this game and fucking figure out where I need to go. There's also a ton of locked doors in this game. You'll enter a room with fucking 8 or 9 doors. You might be able to open 2 of them. So, you know, you'll find maps. You'll find maps in this game. They're fucking needed. You need those maps. And the maps are sometimes really easy to walk right by. You might enter a room. It's dark. You might not see it just sitting there in the corner. So you're walking around. You're like, oh, fuck, there's no map. And Turns out it was if you generally get into a new area, the map is going to be right there in the first area, generally speaking. So not always, but sometimes. So there's tons of locked doors, lots of exploration, but it's limited, right? Because of all the locked doors. There's also a section where there's a lady friend following you around. That section really kind of peed me off, if you will, because she kept getting in the way. She would literally walk right in front of my shotgun, and I go, bam, I shoot her right in the fucking head. And I'm like, what are you doing? Get the hell out of the way. And then she would go running into the enemies. The enemies are beating the shit out of her. I'm like, girl, like, forget Ashley. Ashley is a saint compared to, what was it, Maria was the girl, I think, following me around. Fuck, that chick sucked. And there's one other part late in the game. You got to get in this rowboat, and you got to row the boat. And on the hard difficulty, you actually have to like row the boat rotate the sticks to simulate a rowing motion. In the normal difficulty and easy difficulty, you just row. But I was sitting there rowing for, I shit you not, 7 minutes. They counted how much time it took me. Oh my goodness, is it ready? Oh no, it's not ready yet. Okay, Battlefield's still downloading. But I was rowing this boat into the fog. I had no idea where I was going. I'm like, do I turn? Do I just go straight? Like, where the fuck do I go? Going for like 7 minutes. I'm like, all right, I'm not getting anywhere. I turn slightly over to the right, and there's a fucking lighthouse light. And I'm like, oh, I'm an idiot. So it was a me problem. I'm an idiot. So, but that part drove me nuts. I was like, what the fuck is going on right here? Like, is this a joke? Like, it kind of reminded me from Metal Gear Solid 3, the really long ladder, which people call a boss fight, but there's like literally a ladder that takes you like 3 minutes to climb up. And there's like 3 instances in this game where I'm like, is this game fucking with me? Like, I've been going down this elevator for like a minute and a half now. We're still not there. Like, what the fuck is going on? And then this boat really pushed me to my limit. I'm like, all right, it's been like 7 fucking minutes. I don't know what's going on. Turns out I just had to go right a little bit. So, hey, all right. I'm a dum-dum. It happens sometimes. But the gameplay, like I said, for an early survival horror game, pretty fucking good, man. Like, I still had a good time playing this game. I liked the shooting. I felt shooting the shotgun especially felt really good. But other than that, it's a pretty standard survival horror. You're scrounging for items, which I felt there was plenty of. At least for me, I was using the guide. So the guide would be like, all right, go to room number 2, and there's stuff in here, and there's stuff in this room and that room. So go collect it. It's like, all right, the game gives you plenty to play with. I had tons of stuff by the end of it, so even if you're missing some of the ammo, you should still have enough to get through. And worst comes to worst, you can use your melee weapon. It's not the best, but I think now we can talk about the enemies. Let's talk about the enemies. There's not many of them, but they are freaky. So you start out with your generic straitjacket monster thingies, and they're terrifying. They're the ones that will show up first, and they're in a straitjacket, so their arms are bound, and you can't see their face, but they're covered in like blood and muck and just gross stuff, and they twitch around. I don't like things that twitch around and making all these weird moves. And the worst thing that they do is when you take them down, they hit the ground, they start skittering around on the ground just running around on the ground. I don't like that. They bite you. It's not cool. They're fucking doing shit I don't like. So I didn't like them. They also scared the fuck out of me one time. One skittered out from underneath a car. Just scared the piss out of me. I was like, oh my god, I did not expect that. So good for you, straitjacket guys. There's quite a lot of them. But they're pretty inoffensive. They'll like throw up on you, which is actually extremely offensive. But in terms of damage and how threatening they are of an enemy, they're pretty low down there. They're not that bad. You can whack them a bunch of times with the wooden board. Actually, I will shout out the wooden board. When they are on the ground, you hold down the A button or the X button, and you can you smash down on the ground. That one felt pretty good. That one feels pretty good, but the standing up attacks suck ass. They suck ass. All right, speaking of suck ass, we got the mannequins. They are creepy. They're 2 sets of legs, so no torso, just legs and then more legs. So we got 4 legs walking around over here. They're kicking. They're doing the thing. They're not that bad. I'm not scared of them at all. They're really easy to just walk by. Their attacks are really slow and very easy to see coming. They're like, so there's plenty of time for you to get out of the way, which is a nice thing. So that's all good. We got nurses. I don't like the nurses. There is a lot of nurses, and these nurses, they're not bound. They have weapons. They're carrying their own sticks and stuff like that, and they're hard as fuck to take down. I swear these bitches never die. So you take down an enemy. The radio goes silent. You're like, all right, it's dead. You leave that area. You come back. These bitches are standing up again. I got to put another 10 slugs in them just to put them down. Like, holy shit. Like, it takes like 3 rounds of them, like, of you putting them down for them to finally be down and down for good. So I was getting nervous when I was in the hospital, and there was a lot of nurses, didn't have a lot of ammo, and that's when you just got to run by them. And they're a little more agile than your straitjacket guys. They can swing at you. They got a bit... They're way more threatening than a straitjacket, but nowhere near as threatening. Or sorry, they're the most threatening, I would say, of the regular enemies. Then you got these other dudes. They're called like hangers or something like that. Never really had a problem with them. I would just run right by them. They hang from like underneath. So you have to get in a specific spot for them to hit you anyway, and it takes them a long time to swing their attack. So I never fought one because I never really felt the need to do that because they weren't doing anything to me. They're scary looking for sure. Like, oh yeah, they're unpleasant to look at. They're these giant hulking like torso things. They're gross. And so are the nurses. Nurses aren't pleasant either. They're covered in blood. They're gross looking. They look like a burlap sack that walks around. It's unpleasant. They're very unpleasant indeed. Now we get to the fun stuff in terms of enemies. So we got Pyramid Head. Pyramid Head, even if you haven't played Silent Hill, you've probably heard of Pyramid Head because he is one of the most iconic enemies in gaming. He is awesome. And yes, I've seen tons of Pyramid Head. I've seen every Pyramid Head thing that is out there. I watched the clip of him in the movie, the Silent Hill movie. I saw him like deglove a whole human being with his one hand. Amazing. And then I've seen all the scenes with Pyramid Head in Silent Hill 2. I've watched Let's Plays of this game long time ago, so I don't remember. But I remember the scenes with Pyramid Head, obviously. But what I don't remember is Pyramid Head stalking you this one time. So you get in this building, and I believe this is the first time you see him. But I just went up these stairs, and down the hallway, behind a cage, he was just standing there. And I was like, whoa, what the fuck? I was like, I've never seen this before. So that freaked me out. That really freaked me out. And Pyramid Head, if you don't know, pretty self-explanatory. He's like this giant, tall, very buff, butcher-looking dude with a giant metal pyramid on his head. And it looks immensely intimidating. He is a very scary-looking motherfucker. And on top of that, he's got this, 5-foot-long butcher's knife that he just drags around with him. It is very unpleasant. And then the first time you get a cutscene with this guy, he's doing some questionable things to a mannequin. I'm not going to go into what he's doing to that mannequin, but he's doing some questionable stuff. And you're just locked in the closet. You're terrified. You're just like, oh fuck, please don't see me. Please don't hear me. Of course it fucking hears you and it starts walking over to you. You just unload a bunch of bullets into that thing, just a terrified chick and shit, and you run the hell out of there. You're just like, nope, not dealing with this guy. He is terrible. Well, he fucks off, but it's okay. So that is not the only time you're dealing with Pyramid Head. Getting locked. So your first fight with Pyramid Head, you get locked in this very tiny room, which is a thing they like to do in Silent Hill. They love to stick you in a room with a big enemy and just let you have at it. So you get stuck in this room with Pyramid Head. He's got his big butcher's knife, and this sucked. I fucking hated this fight. So you're stuck in this little room. He has a very, very easy to see coming big butcher knife swing, but 4 fucking times. So all you got to do in this fight is rather wait it out for 3 minutes, just avoid his attacks for 3 minutes, easier said than done, or unload bullets into him. Not recommended. Don't do that because you don't have very many bullets. You're not going to have enough to take him down anyway. So don't do that. What you want to do is just go from one edge of the room to the other edge of the room and avoid him as best as possible. Sadly, at this point, I was still kind of fresh to the controls, and I was not good at moving James in an accurate fashion. I would bump into Pyramid Head, I'd bump into the wall, get stuck on the wall, and then showink, I get fucking nailed every time. On the last freaking 10 seconds of the fight, he whacks me, and it's a one-shot kill. You're dead. No surviving. He does 2 attacks. He has like a half swing, which you can survive. Then he has the full swing. You cannot survive. So he kept nailing me with that full swing when I'm trying to get by him, get stuck on a wall. The controls were not good. The room was too damn small, man. The room was so small. You can barely squeeze by him. He's a big character. He's got that huge knife, so there's not a lot of room for error. Did not like that fight whatsoever. Okay, so there's a chase scene that Pyramid Head likes to join in on. I did not know this, so this is when he scared the shit out of me, because me and Maria were just... Is that her name, Maria? I think so. We were just running, and then out of nowhere from behind us, there's Pyramid Head running after us. I was like, oh my god, he can run. That is terrifying to see. That scared the shit out of me, so that was awesome. Really like that. And then, spoiler alert, if you don't want to hear about this fight, just plug your ears for a second. But there is a double Pyramid Head fight. Oh yeah, baby, you're fighting 2 of these guys at the same time, and it was actually a good fight. They give you a big room, big enough room to take them on. There's 2 Pyramid Heads. They don't have the butcher knife anymore. They had like spears. And yeah, it was easy. I got through it on the first try, no problem. Had tons of ammo at that time. Pretty interesting. They decide to kill themselves they just stab themselves in the face with their own spear. I'm like, what the fuck is that about? Huh? You just giving up on me over here? But that's Pyramid Head, man. And I see why this enemy is so iconic, why he is so revered and remembered, because like, whoa, this dude is like, I don't know, I haven't played the remake, but I really hope there's like some parts in the game where Pyramid Head is just, there are parts in the game, in this game here, Silent Hill 2, where Pyramid Head is just roaming the halls. I just didn't fuck around in that area very long. I did my thing and got the fuck out of there. So there are parts where Pyramid Head is just roaming the halls and you can run into him. I think there's 2 instances that happens. I just hope it's more of a Mr. X Nemesis situation in the remake where he's like more aggressive. He's running after you. He's chasing you and shit like that. That will be awesome. So I'm very excited to see what they do with Pyramid Head in the remake. No spoilers, please. I don't want to hear about it, but I am excited to see what goes down with Pyramid Head. So that's pretty much your extent with Pyramid Head. You get in a double boss fight with him. You're meeting him like all throughout the game, like from the very early on in the game, you see him, he scares you, you're like, what the fuck is that? And then by the end, you're fighting 2 of them. So it's pretty intense. So other than Pyramid Head, there's a couple other bosses. Nowhere near as awesome as Pyramid Head, but you got Flesh Lips. I didn't come up with the name, but that's what they're calling it. You get stuck in a little room with this fucking piece of shit. Actually, scratch that. You get stuck in a room with 3 of these pieces of shit in this little room, and they're awful. You got no room to move, so you basically just got to sit there, take the damage, and deal out the damage that you can, and these things will suck your head and just pull you up into the ceiling, and it's not a very good time. It's not something I want James to go through, so I tried to avoid that. That took me a couple of times to finally get that one down. Just too much of that, man. Like every boss fight, they gotta stick you in this fucking 4x4 room where there's no room to move and stick 3 enemies inside there with you. No, that was not cool. And the look of these things, it just looks like a fucking bed with lips, like just a big bed frame. Like it was not very, very scary looking. And that little shit, Laura, there's this little girl that you see other people in Silent Hill. There's Eddie, who's like this fat, just weird guy. He does some really fucked up shit in the game later on. I'm not really gonna talk about what he does, but he does some fucked up shit. You meet some people throughout Silent Hill. You meet this Maria chick who looks exactly like your wife, but is not your wife, but is totally your wife, man. Like there's no fucking way she's not my wife. She looks exactly like her. So and your name's Maria. My wife is named Mary, and you're Maria. Come on. How stupid do you think I am? Pretty stupid, but not that stupid. All right. After the Flesh Lips, you get Abstract Daddy. Again, I did not name these guys. That's the name. And this one, again, just looks like a blobby table. Not that scary. Got to fight it in yet another tiny room where you can barely avoid its attacks. So, don't like that. Not a fan of that. So, that one sucked. And he's not that scary. And then there just end up being a regular enemy later. Like, you get this Abstract Daddy. He takes quite a few shots to take down. The other Abstract Daddies, they only take like 2 shotgun shells, they're done. So very unintimidated by this guy. So that was that. You get to fight one of the people, and that was actually a dope fight. Really like that one. You go in this like meat freezer thing, and there's like bodies hanging from the ceiling and you're like using them to dodge the bullets and stuff like that. I really enjoyed that fight. Not going to say who it's against, but that was a good fight. And that was a fucked up fight too. Then you get the final fight. It was fine. You know, it again kind of looked like a bed frame with a nun inside of it. Like, it's just kind of a square, scary lady inside. She's got like a tentacle. She'll shoot bats at you. It's nothing. It's nothing. Like, Pyramid Head is the ultimate scary guy in this game, and the nurses and the straitjacket guys and the mannequins are pretty freaky. But other than that, not that freaky. For the bosses underwhelmed me. I will admit, they all kind of looked the same. They all felt the same in their fight. You just get stuck in a small room with them and you just blast them a bunch of times with a shotgun close range and it's over. So yeah, I was pretty underwhelmed with most of the boss fights. Some of them were really good, like the one against Pyramid Head I enjoyed. The one against Pyramid Head. Not the first fight, but the second fight was good. And then the fight against the human enemy, that was a good fight too. So I like that one. And then the really cool thing about Silent Hill is there's multiple endings. And these endings are wacky as fuck. I will let you do your research and look up the endings. All I'll tell you is that one of them involves a dog and the other involves aliens. How about that? How about that, eh? So I myself will be looking these endings up myself. I remember the dog one. It's very funny, so I highly recommend you look up the endings to Silent Hill once you're done with Silent Hill and you're ready for that. But it's intense. So throughout my guide, it was telling me like, okay, on your second playthrough, this item will be here and that will get you this ending. So it encourages multiple playthroughs of this game. I'm not doing it right now. I might go back and try and do another replay because it's not a very long game. It took me about 7.5 hours or so to beat. And that's a lot of me. Like, I would say it took even less than that, maybe like 6.5, 7 hours because I was stopping to read the guide a lot. So it's not a very long game. That's a bonus. You get multiple different endings. That's a bonus. And the endings are really funny and really interesting and cool. So that's a bonus. All right. So that is the game. So let me answer the question. Is this game scary? Yeah, it's scary. Obviously, it wasn't as scary for me playing it this time because I was using a guide. And again, I recommend using a guide on your first playthrough because you're going to get hella lost. You're going to get hella frustrated. And you're probably not going to like it, especially if you're playing it modern like now. It doesn't really play like a modern game. There's not a lot of hand-holding. There's not a lot of clues as to where you're necessarily going. It's not very clear all the time. Things are very, very easy to miss. And I mean very easy to miss. So I would recommend using a guide on your first playthrough now that I'm familiar with the game. Kind of know what I'm looking for now. Now I would play it, no problem, without the guide. Maybe a problem or two, but regardless, just to see how I get those endings and stuff. But yeah, I would recommend playing this game with a guide for your first playthrough. But yes, this game is absolutely playable today. This is a playable-ass video game. For how old is it? 24, 25-ish years old? Like, it's an old-ass game. It's a classic, and it still plays good. I was impressed. I had fun. I had a good time with this game. If I was scoring it, as I'm scoring it today, it's a 7 out of 10. It's a good time, good game still looks pretty good, plays pretty good. The puzzles are pretty good, and the combat, the camera, the combat, that's where it gets a little bit wonky, but the story, Pyramid Head, fucking, just the flow of this game is really good. It has a really good flow. You're just kind of it's just, I don't know. It just flowed really good. I like playing this game. I could play it for like extended amount of time. I found myself like, all right, I got to stop now. I got to go to bed. So let's stop here. And I was like, but I just want to keep going. It's fun, man. It definitely scratches a Resident Evil itch, like an old school Resident Evil itch. It's not quite Resident Evil, obviously. It's quite different. There's not as much combat, not as many enemies. And it's more so encouraged for you to just kind of run by the enemies, especially when you can. It's more or less recommended to do that, especially when you're out in the streets. Like, don't kill anything out in the streets. There's no point. It's just a waste of ammo to kill anything in the streets. They're so easy to just run by. So really no problems there. I enjoyed the story of this game. I was compelled from beginning to end. The beginning especially, like, really, the game really nails that dreamlike aspect. Like, you are in this dreamlike world. Something's not right. You know something's not right, and the people are acting weird. Like, you're in a dream. Like, I really like the setting of this game, the feeling of this game, the atmosphere especially was awesome. The music is really good. Yeah, man, this game is absolutely playable today. How you play it, that is up to you, my friends. You can try and track down a HD version of it. I had a fine time with it. It ran well. Does it look the best? No, doesn't look that good. The HD upgrade doesn't do a lot for me, but you get used to it. You do. After like 30 minutes of playing it, your eyes will adjust to the blurriness and you'll be just fine. So that's my recommendation. I absolutely say it is worth playing Silent Hill 2, the original, before you play the remake. I think it's definitely worth to see how far the game has come, and I am extremely excited personally to get my hands on that remake and see how far the game has come. See how the endings got translated and how the combat has improved, and especially what they did with Pyramid Head. So excited. And the fact that they're remaking Silent Hill 1 next, which means they're probably going to do 3, then probably 4. They have Silent Hill F is out. Like, Silent Hill is back, y'all. So no better time than now in October to take down a scary game. Why not track down Silent Hill 2 and give it a shot? It is well worth your time, I would say. Not a very long game. You might even be encouraged to play through it a second time right away. Like, I'm itching for it, but Battlefield is here, Hades 2 is here, so I got some other things on my plate that are a little bit more important than a second playthrough to see some aliens or a dog, but I'll watch it on YouTube, I'll get my fill there, and there we go, everybody. Another episode down. Thank you so much for listening. You're awesome. You want to be even more awesome than you already are, make sure you're reviewing the podcast, share it around wherever you're listening to it, share it around with a friend or two and an enemy, who cares? I upload all these episodes to the YouTube channel GamerGX Videos. Drop a comment on YouTube. You want to let me know what you're playing. You want to give me a recommendation for a game to play. You want to give me an episode idea. Be free, man. Like, absolutely let me know. You can also drop comments on Spotify if you want to do that as well. Same thing. Let me know what you're playing. Scariest movies, scariest games. What scary game should I go to next? Like, I don't really know where I want to go next. I think I want to go with the Silent Hill remake, but who knows? Maybe I'll try and find a way to play Silent Hill 1 or find another horror game. There are other horror games on my docket, like Alien Isolation. I'm really trying to hold off on that one because it looks scary as hell. There's Callisto Protocol I want to play. So yeah, any recommendations are more than welcome. And in terms of what other episodes we want to do, there's going to be a Hades 2 review for sure. Rhythm game episode still on the docket for some point. Probably be doing a Battlefield 6 review at some point here once I get my hands into it and get my feet on the ground and start shooting some bitches. Gonna be dope. So yeah, anyway, just let me know if you got any ideas. I have tons of episodes to do, tons more games to talk about. So I'm pretty good, but I'm always down for ideas. So let me know. And there we go, everybody. Another episode down. We'll be back again with the GX Plus Cast.